Today, we are really excited to welcome our panel of apprenticeship sponsors who have developed and implemented apprenticeship programs in partnership with the Department of Labor. Our panel is going to talk about some of the benefits of having an apprenticeship program and answer some questions about their successes and maybe discuss some of their challenges and why businesses or job seekers should consider apprenticeships. The first thing I would like to do is have each of our panelists introduce themselves, their name, location, business, and program, and then answer, how did you hear about apprenticeships? So we'll go ahead and start with Greg today.
Good morning. My name is Greg Wilson. I'm a labor superintendent for Rapid Fire Protection. Rapid Fire is located out of Rapid City, South Dakota. We started out here in the owner of the basement's house, and now we've just grown. We're in North Dakota, South Dakota, Wyoming, Utah, and Colorado. And a large part of our success has been through the apprenticeship through the American Fire Sprinkler Association. So the American Fire Sprinkler Association is the apprenticeship that we follow. It is recognized throughout the whole country. We've been a part of that since 1994. That's when we started. So almost 30 years. And so it's a vital part of how we've grown tradesmen into this trade, because we're a little unique from other trades that are out there. If you go to a lot of different communities, the community colleges, they offer plumbing, electrical, HVAC. Nobody provides fire protection training. So we're in a very unique niche type of a market. And because of that, the apprenticeship is really the only way that our people can learn how to be a part of the trade.
Very awesome. Very awesome. All right. We will head over to Jena.
Good morning. My name is Jena McNabb, and I'm one of the owners here at Temperature Technology that is located in Rapid City, South Dakota. We came about the apprenticeship program through an email that y'all sent out, and then some very persistent people that kept saying, please fill this out. I think that it would be a wonderful opportunity for your business. And all I kept thinking to myself was, I don't have another thing to put on my plate. We were already doing our own training here because there's not a lot of schooling out there specifically for what we do. And I just thought, we already have a program. I did want to fine tune it, but I was nervous about the time that it would take to put all that together. And so as the team there kept saying, please fill this out, I think this would be awesome. We finally moved forward with it, and it's been an awesome opportunity for us. So yeah, so that's a little bit about us here in Rapid City.
Awesome. I'm glad we were persistent and that you're here on this panel with us today. So
thank you for the opportunity.
No problem. All right, we'll head over to Anna, and I'll let you introduce yourself.
Okay. Hi, my name is Anna Robbins. My husband and I own a concrete construction business, Lester Robbins Construction, here in Rapid City, South Dakota, that we started it'll be almost 15 years in April. It was the same thing. We got an email through the South Dakota Department of Labor, and the construction industry in South Dakota, with all of the growing and development, has just been shorthanded for years. And then one of the things that we had realized was guys coming in don't move through and move up quick enough. And so you lose them, or they do where they bounce around to company, and really wanting to create a model where it seems like more of a professional career. Because a lot of times guys in construction, when they start from the bottom up, it can take them 20 years to really move up to a place where it feels like they are in a solid career choice and really benefiting from the industry. And so we decided to do the apprenticeship. Then COVID hit, but like same thing, Department of Labor has been very helpful, encouraging, and persistent, and kind of pushed me too, because I was the same thing. I don't know if I can do one more thing, and this seems like a lot of work. It has been very beneficial to us in a lot of ways. One, just a guy in an apprenticeship program has a different outlook on their place in the business. And they become very invested almost immediately once they commit to that. So we've seen that. And then it kind of, even the guys that aren't in the apprenticeship or didn't decide to do it, it has created a whole model within our business now. We're more of a teaching, training, learning business, wanting everyone to grow and develop all the time. So it's been a great thing for us. And now we're moving into adding a second one. So that's our story.
Yes, and we're very excited that you have that second one started, and we'll be sending that over for approval soon and get a sign on that in December. So that'll be fun, or January.
Yep.
Awesome.
Oh, great. And then kind of our next question is, describe your workforce and training challenges that you were or are currently facing. And we'll go ahead and start. Anna, if you want to go ahead and start that one.
Yeah, I think I think this has for the first time become a part of almost every industry. I was at the post office yesterday, and the guy was telling me they're completely shorthanded and he's working 12, 13-hour days. And I think maybe he just needed to talk to someone, but anyone you talk to, restaurant owners, it's every industry now. But the construction industry, I feel like, has been experiencing this for quite some time, probably since we started the business. And a lot of it is that trade schools were not encouraged in a really big way there for a little while. Everybody was encouraging tech and those kinds of things, and overlooking that you could build a career and that you could do a trade and become very successful in your life. So I guess that was one of the reasons that we decided to start it. We thought, we've got to change something. Something's got to be different around here in the way that we onboard guys and the way that we try to retain guys, and just in the way that we move guys more quickly up the ladder, so that their wages increase quicker, their skills increase. And I think for employees in general, once they start to learn more, you really notice a difference. You just notice a difference in the way that they carry themselves and become a part of a team within the business. So I would say that has been kind of the thing, is that what the industries for the first time maybe are facing now, the construction industry has been facing for a very long time. And this just seemed like a really good solution. It seems like the solution the governor's encouraging, the solution that the country is encouraging as a solution to getting more people involved in trades.
Yep, I agree. And yeah, it is definitely a bigger push right now, and grateful to have you on board with it.
Yeah.
So, yep. Greg, if you want to kind of describe your workforce and training challenges that you have been facing.
Yeah, so a lot of the same, just trying to find people that are interested in actually doing physical labor work has been very difficult. The other part of it is just exposure too, with, again, our trade being very unique, that there's just not a lot out there for trade schools. So it's really just developing through the apprenticeship, and just trying to retain workers has been a real challenge too. So definitely we're trying to think out of the box. We're doing more onboard training, trying to come up with better ways to secure. And then again, the apprenticeship gives us a great pathway. Sometimes it's really difficult to have benchmarks to know with pay rates and pay increases and things like that without some type of structure. So the apprenticeship gives us that structure so that we can pay our apprentices as they grow and they work their way through the program. It gives them a path, and it gives us a path of having that structure of knowing when and how to pay.
Yeah. Yep. And that'll lead into my next question here too. But Jena, if you'd like to kind of share a little bit about your training challenges and what you were facing.
I think it's the same as what they were saying too. The only thing that I would add on to it that I would say maybe was a challenge, but is so nice now, is that company specific training. So you can train for temperature controls or electrical work or whatever that might be. But when you come into a business, they might have specific line that they're carrying, which we do, which is different than other lines of temperature controls. And so we were able to specifically say, this is ours, and this is how we work with these products. So even if they had other training somewhere else, this program has allowed us to specifically focus on the brand that we carry, and the products that we work with on a daily basis. And that's been nice.
Yes. Yep. I agree. Yeah. Being able to focus and tailor it to each individual company is really a plus of registered apprenticeships. It's something that has been exciting for us new team members to learn as we go. But
I love the fact that you all, well, Aubrey specifically, was willing to dive in and learn about our business and what we do to help us write the program and put everything together. I guess I'm just going to speak very highly of her, because my thought process with what her role was to just kind of guide us, but yet we needed to put this program together. And that, again, was very overwhelming to me. So when she came in and met with us and was willing to sit down and say, give me everything I need to know that would allow me to help you build a program, I said, you're going to build a program? And she said, yeah, that's my job. And I said, oh my gosh, I'm all in. I was so reluctant to do this because I didn't have the time to put this whole program together. And she dove right into it. And, you know, for not knowing anything about our company or what we do, she was amazing. And, you know, we had to fine tune a few things, but she worked so hard for us to put something together and have a guideline for us to work with. And I was truly impressed.
That's great. And we all love Aubrey. So that is really great to hear. So, yeah. And knowing that that's kind of what our team does, we appreciate that you recognize that. Ashley, I think you're up.
All right. So our next question is, this kind of goes with the last question, but like, what kind of made you want to get involved with registered apprenticeships? Was it just like the labor shortage or not having enough people? Did you just want to give it a try? We'll start with Anna for this one.
You know, I guess one thing was that we were going to give it a try, but as I was writing the letter that you have to write to apply for it, I started to realize we have my husband who's an owner, and then we have a smaller basis owner. And as I was writing it, their story is an apprenticeship story. My husband, you know, he started at the bottom of a construction company and has worked his way up, and same thing with our other owner. And I was like, okay, this is the model that they got to where they're at. And I thought, okay, so if we could do this quicker, it took a lot of years. It takes a lot of years. If we could do this quicker for guys, if we could get guys to the level of education that they have and skill that they have quicker, that would be an amazing thing. And I think that we could retain employees and we could build long-term relationships with employees. And so that was one of the things that I realized very quickly. And construction, you know, I have a nursing degree by profession. I worked in the emergency room for 8 years and then was completely burnt out and left. But truly, you gain a portion of the knowledge in school, and then you spend the first year or two out of school going, what? I don't know anything. You basically spend it in an apprenticeship learning what you need to know. And so to develop that within our business, I thought that it's going to take time. And we need to know that this could take time to really pick up speed and to run very efficiently and well. But once it does, I really saw it as like a great solution to not only a problem, but a great solution to just building something long-term. So.
Awesome. I really love that story about your husband and his co-owner kind of starting out in the industry that way. It's very interesting that now we actually have this type of program that can accelerate that. And we're so happy that sponsors like you are taking advantage of that for sure. We will go to Greg.
So very similar to your husband's story. I started out in the trade. That was about 28 years ago, and I started out as just a laborer. I had never even heard of this trade, and so right away got into the apprenticeship program that they established early on. And it was interesting because back then there wasn't even any structure to our trade. It was just a general pipe fitter. And so just within the last, I don't know, probably year and a half, Aubrey helped too with rewriting ours and rebuilding ours to having a little bit more updated information and things that are relevant to our trade. And so, but just throughout the years, just watching the other people that have been a part of it and grow up in the trade, it's just been really great.
What's going on?
All right. Well, that's awesome that you have that personal connection and story of apprenticeships too. I didn't realize that you had kind of started off in that role, so that's really neat.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So Jena, we will go to you.
Okay, so tell me again what you specifically want me to talk about.
So what made you want to get involved other than our persistence?
I'm going to tell you it's your persistence.
Hey, we'll take it.
Knowing that it was a part of the state, it was a state program, I think that helped. And then just, again, it was your persistence. It really, truly was. Out on our plate, and it was just a matter of formalizing it. Something else that I thought important for us to follow through with this was because of the professionalism. I thought that the employees, even though we were already doing the training, would find that it was valuable that we were putting forth a professional looking agenda or program for it's just the fact that we're persistent and we were looking for something that make look more professional. So, and you've done it.
Awesome. Yay. That makes me so happy that persistence is paying off in this situation. So that's awesome. So our next question kind of goes hand in hand with that. So how did you get your apprenticeship started? And I know that Temp Tech, you kind of talked about that with Aubrey coming out and talking about her really getting to know your business. Greg, was your experience similar?
So we had, when Rapid Fire first started as a business, we knew the importance of establishing an apprenticeship program. And so Matt Beatty was the guy that originally got things started for us. And some of it was, again, to try to develop that structure. And the other part of it, too, is just within business, it's really important because without having this established apprenticeship, being able to do government and projects, Davis-Bacon work, things like that, that it really allowed us to be able to bid and to open up our market to do more work than just localized work.
Okay, awesome. All right. Anna, what about you? Oh, I think you are muted. All right. I think maybe she's. Oh, there we go.
Yep.
Yep.
Perfect. So we went through the process step by step because I'm a process person, and I was like, okay, this is very overwhelming. And so I just listened to you guys as you were like, do this step, then do this step, then do this step. And that was what we did. we just recently though, and COVID definitely was difficult because we were ready to launch it and we were supposed to head down to Pierre and like literally 2 days before they declared the pandemic. And then that came through. And so then it was like then I think the Department of Labor was very busy. So we put it on hold for about a year and you guys did. But then when it was time to pick it back up, it moved very quickly and the momentum was there. And a lot of encouragement to get it going again because I was coming out of COVID and was like, oh, I've been overwhelmed for a couple of years. I don't know if I want to add. I'm not sure I want to do this.
Right.
I don't know if I want to add one more thing. And so there was a lot of encouragement and help at that point. And actually everything was not as hard as it ever sounds. So we got it going, got not only our first apprenticeship, but 2 of our employees wanted to do it. And we saw no reason why they couldn't. And we've had them started. And of course, we're learning as we go. This is our first time working with the apprenticeship model, learning as we go. We're actually working again to revamp some of the things. We're like, as we've gotten into it for a year now, we can look back and see maybe this should have been different or that should have been different and changing it as we go. And I can see that like as we continue on, there's probably going to be changes that eventually, things that need to be modified and changed as you go, just because the industry changes and the work that we're doing changes. So this process this time was much more streamlined and quicker, I would say. With the labor apprenticeship that we're building. It was very, very streamlined. I was actually, and maybe it's because I've been through it, but I was actually really surprised. I'm like, wow, that was so easy. So yeah, just following along with you guys step by step as you encourage us to do each step and just accomplishing that little by little. So that was kind of how we did it.
Awesome. So now we will turn it over to Caitlin. Caitlin's going to ask you guys some questions here.
So in this next question, you've kind of talked about a little bit, but what resources did you utilize when developing your registered apprenticeship program? Jena, we'll go ahead and start with you there.
We were able to go back into
Can you hear her? Oh, Jena, we can't hear you for some reason. Jena, can you hear us? Okay. We can't hear you, Jena. Can you hear us, Jena? No. All right, Greg, if you want to, while we get the mic figured out, if you want to kind of take that on, what resources you use when developing your registered apprenticeship program?
Sure. So a lot of ours was established with that founder, one of the original guys at Rapid Fire Map 80. But I know that we draw a lot on just not only from the help of you guys. Aubrey has been a big part of rewriting our program, but then we use the American Fire Sprinkler Association's apprenticeship.
Wyatt, do you have my truck running?
So that's a big part of, I guess, the structure that we go by. And
I'm on that meeting.
Developed too. So. Otherwise, as far as other resources, I think just other people in the industry and help that they've provided to us to having a better understanding of structure and building out the program too has really helped to us.
For utilizing all those resources and kind of starting from the beginning there. But yeah, I like to see that how you had it started originally, and then you showed how you can kind of continue to add and update those standards to fit the current world because things are constantly changing. So that's great. Jena, we'll go back to you there.
My apologies. One of the guys was using my truck, and of course it went over to the Bluetooth in my truck.
Yep.
Let's see. I think I was talking about I don't know even know how much all you heard, but training manuals that we've had on the specific line that we use. The specific line also has some online training, week-long courses that we were able to bring into our program so that they can, at a certain point, whenever they reach a certain level, they can do that week online training with that particular company and do specific training for those parts. So we were able to pull that in, and then just sitting down and brainstorming kind of what we wanted our guys to learn by the time it was all over. And again, Aubrey was a huge part of that, and what, OSHA 10 or whatever these training courses could be that maybe were not just what we were training on, but things that they needed to have that would be beneficial for them to have in the end once they got their apprenticeship. So I got through that program. So yeah, I think that was kind of the main things was just training manuals that were already out there. They were already at our fingertips.
Yeah.
Just bringing it all together and having someone to help us put it into a program.
Right. Yeah. And I think that's one of the best things about registered apprenticeships is it makes it so you have a process to, written down and follow it. And like you said, it was things that you already were doing, or maybe adding a few items that you hadn't considered before, but just kind of getting it all lined up there in an easy to follow place. But yeah.
I think it was nice for the guys able to see kind of a checkoff list of what our expectations were, and then they're able to kind of do their own checkoff list. Like I would like more training in this area, or I feel like this area is, I feel pretty good about this. And so they were able to check it off, and they could visually see also what those expectations were.
Absolutely. Yeah, that makes it very nice for both employee and employer. Anna, what resources did you use when developing your registered apprenticeship? I think you're on mute.
Okay. Hi. In the field, we are using a lot of the knowledge of the supervisors and the journeymen that are training them. And as far as the field work goes, with a lot of the related instruction, we're using, there's a big movement right now, which is good, towards safety. I'm just noticing in the construction industry as a whole. And so we're working with the South Dakota Safety Council. That's been most recently getting our guys first aid, CPR, and AED trained, OSHA training, a lot of those things that just make them for a more well-rounded employee from kind of not only a skill perspective, but as a construction worker in general. The American Concrete Institute has some courses that we'll be bringing for the first time our guys in for a week to work one-on-one with their supervisor to do that course with them so they can ask questions as they're going through it. That's for form setting for the concrete form setter. They'll be finishing that class and receive a certificate from the ACI. So really utilizing people and things that are in place already to get our guys, rather than building it from the ground up. We found the South Dakota Safety Council just this year being a part of a safety network that Skull Construction has started. And I'm like, they've already got it built. Why am I going to go and do something from the ground up? And so just kind of plugging our employees into those things that can get them that further training and certification.
Absolutely. Yeah, that is really great. And then just kind of talking again how that brings all those players together and utilizing those resources that already exist. So,
yes. Yep.
Yeah. What challenges did you all have to overcome in creating your program? We'll start with you, Greg.
With ours, probably the biggest thing was just lack of resources. Going back to the American Fire Sprinkler Association, a program that was already built that we utilize, it's so nice because, they've already gone through, they've developed the testing and the study guides, the books and everything. And this year they just did a revision to all of their books with us. A lot of our stuff is life safety. So a lot of the life safety codes change, and those things, have a big effect on our trade. they make those updates within those. And it also helps in our areas where we have licensing. So in Colorado, we have state licensing that our guys have to follow. And so the apprenticeship program gives them the training and the testing and everything that will provide them the information that they need so that they can pass their state tests for their licensing. The AFSA also has just rolled out a new program that they're going to be starting this next year, and it's actually going to be more interactive, where it's 2 hours in classroom every week, and it's just a lot more experts out of the trade sharing in those training sessions and things like that. So they're expanding and growing it all the time, which is really exciting. And then just with the actual program that they have right now, it really does give structure and gives them exposure to things that they don't see all the time either. Within our industry, there's so many different types of systems and programs and things that we work with, and they don't get to see that on a daily basis. It's just maybe once a year they get to work on a fire pump, or once a year they get to work on a specialty system. And so those books and the training give them the resources so that they can always go back to those. And if they get into a situation they're working on a very specific project, they've got something to go back to that they can pull up and utilize to help them with an install or troubleshooting and things like that.
Yeah, such a great point. Yeah, having that hands-on knowledge, but then also having a resource to go back to, really key there. Yeah, Jena, what challenges did you have to overcome in creating your program?
I'm telling you, Aubrey was amazing. Yeah. we really have not had too many challenges. I might send her an email and just say, am I supposed to be doing something? And she says, no, we're good. I got it all filed. We're ready to go. Put this date on your calendar. And she has just made it very smooth. And it is our first year, so I'm sure there'll be some changes and stuff that we have to make along the way. But she's been so easy to work with, and the challenges don't come right now with the program. The challenges come with finding the employees to put in the program. So I guess I want to look at it a different way in terms of that, and that's just the same across the board, like the other two have said. So no challenge with the program itself.
Great. Well, yeah, we love to hear that. So, but yeah, I think that's a good point, that the work doesn't stop in developing the program. The work really starts after the program's developed, with getting those apprentices. So, yes. All right, Anna, what challenges?
Yeah. I would say, so the first one it was kind of new, I think, to you guys. And so we were kind of working through that. This time was very different. Like I said, just much more streamlined, just easier. Like you guys actually helped build the apprenticeship, whereas the last time we kind of built them. So I was like, Ashley let me know. She's like, well, just get me your stuff and I'm going to put it in. And I'm like, what? Like I had to do that last time. You're going to do that? That's fantastic. And helping me do research for some answers specific to, like, we're trying to target the youth, the like 16, 17-year-olds. And so then there is the hazards and some of those occupational hazards and kind of working through those questions. You guys have access to people that can answer those much more quicker. And so it was actually really, really easy this time, I guess. It was kind of a no-brainer. I think the difficulty always is, like, anytime you bring something new into your business, you have to train the people about the model. Like, you've already kind of grasped it and the importance of it, but then getting other people to jump on board to see the value of it, and then kind of ironing out the details as you go. And we're 9 months into it, and so we're just doing that. But the guys who are involved in the journeymen are definitely seeing the fruit of it, and that is motivating them to do more, learn more, become more involved. So I think it's just that was probably our hardest part is, okay, now how do we get everyone else on board was kind of, and continuing to do that.
I'm so happy you brought that up. How the journeymen have really kind of now embraced it after they've been working with it, and kind of building that, because that's key as well, is to have that buy-in from your other team members.
Yeah.
Really, really happy you brought that up. So,
yeah.
All right, Ashley.
All right, perfect. So the next question we're going to go to is successes that you've had so far in the program or hope to have. So we will go to Greg first.
Sure. So some of the successes that we've had through the years, just having a great throughout the years, just turnover of guys coming through the program and building just that base that we have. The American Fire Sprinkler Association, they provide an apprenticeship contest that they have all the apprentices throughout the United States. They will compete against each other on a nationwide, and it's a written test. And we've had over 20 of our apprentices have gone and have placed within that in the years that we've been in business. And so it just builds momentum and excitement for the trade. In fact, our guy that went this year, out of all of the apprentices in the nation, through the AFSA, our guy took third this year, and last year our guy took second. So it's just really exciting to see them embrace it, and they really enjoy learning the trade that way. And there's just that competitiveness that's out there too that helps. I mean, it's just a win-win, because they want to win on their part, but then we win as an employer because they've learned the trade so well that that they know that knowledge now forward and back. And then also just being in life safety and protection of property, having that structure has just been a win for us, because it's kept us out of getting into lawsuits and things like that. When you talk about putting in systems that are very specific, and if there's any mistakes, the consequences could be very high. So being able to have a program that trains the installers to put in work correctly keeps us out of liability too. And then for insurance reasons too. As long as they're doing the installs correctly, our insurance claims don't happen, things like that. So there's a lot of benefits that come to us, not just in the education of the employees, but also just protecting the whole group through that education.
Awesome. That's really awesome that with that competition that you've had so many past apprentices and apprentices like place, especially nationally. That's really cool. Kind of makes me want to sign up for your apprenticeship program. Just saying.
Well, and there's good money to make too. I think first place is $5,000, and you get an all expenses paid trip. And this year it was to Vegas. So the guy got an all expenses paid trip to Vegas and won $5,000, or could have won $5,000. He walked away with $3,000 out of it. Which it was not bad. He went to Vegas and came home with money, so not such a bad deal. Yeah.
No, not at all. Perfect. All right, Anna, we will jump to you.
Okay. Yeah, so we enrolled our first apprentices in March, and so we're seeing the early fruits of it. One of the most immediate things was a cultural shift within the company, like moving to a model of, in construction, it used to be like you kind of work your way up and you get kind of beaten down along the way. And instead it shifted the culture to, we're all here to learn. We want the newest guy on the crew to feel as welcome and understand and learn like from our most experienced guy. And so immediately the apprentices are the ones in the program, but I saw a shift in how all of the employees were working with one another, and the way that they were kind of seeing how we grow as a team, how we get work done. We teach each other, we correct one another, critique one another, and then we learn and we grow. And so that's kind of been the most immediate shift. And then just seeing our two guys are moving, the two apprentices are moving quickly, and they're learning much faster than our guys would have in the past, and receiving just more of a full package of training, things that we wouldn't have thought to, like teaching first aid and those kinds of things. We would do that with our supervisors, but not with, the guy that comes in on the lower level. And so I just think as a whole, we're just getting more well-rounded employees, and then the cultural shift that has already happened within the company.
That's awesome. We love to hear that employers and our sponsors are being more safe with their employees and that sort of thing, because safety is a pretty big thing. And then also like the mentoring piece, like with the shift in culture and the mentoring, that's really awesome. That's something that we try to kind of push, is that mentoring piece, because that helps with retention. And we do have an awesome mentoring toolkit, which I'm sure our sponsors know about. If you don't, you can get a hold of one of us after the meeting to definitely learn more. So, and Jena, I know you haven't had anyone start in the program, right?
We're very new. Yeah, we're very new.
Yes.
We've got it going, but we don't have your huge success stories. My gosh, Greg, I was just smiling ear to ear. I mean, I really awesome in what you've done with those guys and the opportunities that you've given them. My mind was rolling of like, what can we be doing, and what little competition can we put together? But I think we're looking forward to higher quality work out there in a more timely manner. And I think, with the lack of employees, we have to be able to really focus on that, of getting good quality work done quicker. And so the training and the education, our hopes is that we can do that, and which is going to in turn, put higher quality work out there with guys that are enjoying what they're doing and feeling like they're competent and not having questions while on the job site. So.
Yeah, we're excited to see what you guys, what accomplishments you do achieve and what you can share with us with that in the future. So that's awesome. All right, Caitlin, if you want to take it away for one more question, I think we have time for. So.
Yeah. What is one piece of advice that you would give to someone starting out with building a registered apprenticeship program? And Jena, let's start with you, since you're fairly new.
Yeah. One piece of advice is trust. Be trusting of the program. You guys have built an amazing program for all of us. And so just trust the process and provide the information when requested and go for the ride and enjoy the ride.
Yeah. Utilize all the resources that you have. Yep.
And the work, I think she had mentioned that earlier, don't rebuild something from ground up when it's already been built for us. So you guys have built an amazing opportunity here for a lot of people. And so it's spreading the word and allowing people to know that the process is easier than probably what they think. And I really am going to say that again, the process is easier than what you think it is. So just trust the process.
Yeah, it can be intimidating when you look at everything, but having that help along the way definitely is our goal, to make it easier. So, Anna, what is one piece of advice you'd give?
One piece of advice I would give, just do it. Just step out and do it. I mean, it seems overwhelming, like anything new, it seems overwhelming to start. But this has been a conversation in, like I said, every industry. Everybody's shorthanded. I haven't talked to anyone who isn't. And so if something keeps coming up as a solution, which apprenticeship models keep coming up as a solution, they're building tech schools, as a solution to this problem, then be a part of the solution. And so be willing to step out, a little uncomfortable at first, but once like I said, they make it very easy. And so if you just give your yes, and then they kind of walk you along each way and answer your questions as you go, They make it very easy for you, but don't be overwhelmed at first. Just take it step by step and just be willing to be a part of the solution.
Give your yes. That is really great. So, and again, we appreciate all of you being here and then, offering that and utilizing us as a resource with that. Greg, what is one piece of advice that you would give?
I'm gonna sound like a parrot here. Same thing. Don't be afraid. To your point, it can seem really intimidating. Just even when I thought, okay, we need to rework our program because it's not up to date. It's not correct. You jump into it and you don't want to make a mistake. You don't want to screw things up. And yeah, it can be a little scary to jump in there and start messing around with things and trying to build something out. And again, you guys you made it great. It was easy to do. And Department of Labor in general has just been really helpful to us. I would hate to not even mention, that Lynette Engel has really helped us with just somebody that was in a different trade that was looking to relocate and help to connect with that person. And we've been working through helping them to get onto our apprenticeship program. And that whole process has been great. And now we've got another really awesome employee. So it's just throughout the program has just been very helpful to us. And again, just don't be afraid or intimidated, because a lot of when you start jumping in and some of the terms and things like that can be a little overwhelming, but it's not. They're there to help. So thank you.
And we're so happy you brought up Lynette too. Department of Labor has not only registered apprenticeship resources, but a lot of other resources that can assist along the way. So we're highlighting registered apprenticeships this week because it's National Apprenticeship Week, but we could probably have a week for every program with Department of Labor. So we're really glad that you brought that up. And then I think we'll turn it over and see if we have any questions from the field.
So if you guys have questions, feel free to put them in the chat. We will try to get to them. We have 10 minutes left here on our meeting. If we don't get to something and you have questions, you can reach out to any of us team members at any point in time. So just kind of looking over the chat right now. Tara did put the workplace mentoring toolkit in there. So if anyone's interested, there's a direct link to that right now in there. All right, it looks like we have a question here. For those existing sponsors, has having a registered apprenticeship helped your retention? So I'm thinking this is more towards Greg and maybe Anna.
Sure, I'll jump in. Yeah, it's been huge. Just the fact that with our apprenticeship program, we have it built out with our books. There's a cost to the books. And so the company pays for half of them, the apprentice pays the other half. And so once they've jumped in and there's some investment in there, they want to fulfill it through completion. So that helps with the retaining. Having that attention to them too, and just accountability. Sometimes a new employee can just get kind of lost in the fray and just, be out there and not really sure. Through the apprenticeship program, that structure, it's teaching them the trade. So they're getting more confidence all the time. And there's a place for them to go and to grow. And as they become more of the team, the more that they learn, the more they contribute, the more that they're going to want to develop and stay in that trade and be a part of the team. And then just through time, they become more family and not just an employee.
Oh, I love that.
Yeah.
That makes me so happy when employers think of their employees as family, and it's not that so cold type of relationship. So
Yeah, I would just add to that. There's almost like an immediate integration of that employee. They feel like they're immediately being invested in. We only have 2 right now. We're a smaller company. 15 to 20 employees is what we usually operate with. And we have 2 right now that are in the apprenticeship program, but we see as we go forward that everybody would go through the apprenticeship program. That's not normal for construction. Like, that's not typical. I know in other industries, like to be an electrician or those kinds of things, the journeyman apprenticeship program is a requirement, but it isn't in a company like ours doing concrete work. It's kind of like learn as you go, work your way up, and it might take you a while. So the immediate shift of the culture changed even like the feel of the company, and that it was even helping to retain employees that weren't in the apprenticeship. And so just that benefit of having that model within your business, like that idea of we teach and we instruct and we want everyone to succeed and we're a team, shifted everything. And yes, we have had a totally different turnover rate this year, even with less employees because of the shortages of employees. We've been able to do as much, and just people are happier. Our employees are happier. They're more happy at the end of this year. Everyone's not as tired, and they're more happy, even though we're working in an industry that has shortages and is very, very busy. And so, yes, I would say retention has been one of the first successes of the business, of the apprenticeship model.
Awesome. See what you have to look forward to, Jena? Some retention. Right? Awesome. So we have another question here in the chat. Any other plans of adding additional apprenticeship positions or occupations?
Well, we're doing that right now. We're adding our second one. There's a group headed up by Mr. Carroll here. He works for the Rapid City school system, and they're trying to take kids that may not go through the college route and getting them working within trades, or ideas of maybe working within trades by the time they're 16 or 17. So you don't lose the youth. They end up graduating, they don't go to college, and they kind of end up being funneled through the system. And so trying to get those kids into something that tells them, hey, being an electrician is a career. Hey, you could have a career in concrete. You can have a career in construction or working for different industries like that. And so that was why we started the labor model, is because you can bring those young kids in, and they can, by the time they graduate, be through that and then working their way up into learning more skills and development, so that they move quicker into more success. So yeah, that's what we've added a second one before we've gotten the first 2 through there. So here we go.
We love it. Keep adding them. All right. What about you, Greg?
The apprenticeship has definitely given us the structure that we need to develop and grow people, through our business. The only thing that we've done is we've just kind of built off of that, actually, just internally. So one of the things is we've developed training superintendents that take on our newest employees, and rather than put them with a foreman that is really concerned about just trying to get his job done, he can't focus on that new employee. We've actually developed training superintendents now that will take that new person under their wing, invest that first month or so into them to try to help retain them, get them up to speed quicker, and even help them to understand the safety of working in construction and things like that. So, I guess we're just kind of building off of what we've already got. So,
well, I love that. And I love that now you have these superintendents being able to really focus on the apprentices and giving them more of that 101 and that mentorship again, which is such a huge piece. Jena, what about you? Would you do it again? And do you have more occupations we can add on?
Actually, we do have an HVAC division to our business too, and we've talked about possibly doing that. So one step at a time, but something we're.
I think Aubrey's on this call, so she, I'm sure she can be of assistance there too.
Yes.
Yeah, it definitely is an option for sure. So
that's great.
Awesome. All right. And it looks like we are here at 10:56. Aubrey just said, let's do it. So whenever you're ready, Jena, give Aubrey a call. So it's about 10:56, 9:56 if you are on Mountain Time. So we are just going to kind of close out this meeting. I want to thank all of the panelists for their time. And I think we all have learned so much from this group, and it has been a great addition to our National Apprenticeship Week. Again, this is going to be posted on our website for later viewing. So I think that's an awesome thing as well. So perfect. Well, thank you guys for your time.
Thank you for having me.
Yeah,
Nice
thank
to
you
meet
for
you all.
joining. Yeah.